Facts.
Because all of Harper's people and all of Ignatius' people are so busy on Facebook seeding websites that they can't be bothered to do their job and clear up the mess that's been created in Afghanistan.
Former Chief of Defense Staff Rick Hilliard spoke about the 10 years of darkness when our military was not adequately supplied, was not adequately supported, did not have proper equipment, and in fact were sent into Afghanistan with green uniforms in a desert setting, and that was by the Ignatieff party, was sent into a desert setting with green uniforms, and they became an immediate target for the enemy. That's how callous things have been. The Harper government has been diligent in terms of funding proper equipment and support for those fine men and women.
With the greatest of respect, Mr. Fantino, the proof of the pudding is they have not had the proper equipment. And on top of which, you know, Mr. Fantino, I want to point out that your leader, Mr. Harper, has obeyed the Westminster model of parliamentary democracy by sending them out there. But guess what? He renewed the recent 3 or 4 years without even consulting Parliament. He seems to think he is George Bush Jr., and he's not. We need to call him to account. Proroguing Parliament, his lack of respect, his disdain for democracy is something the Vaughan voters need to pay attention to. Vaughan voters need a strong voice to bring back our troops and to make sure that if they're going to be out there, they will have the proper equipment.
I'm all for the proper equipment, and that's what's being done.
You haven't done anything about that, though.
Well,
If this war was
you're
so
arguing
important,
against
we would
the
have sent
Jets.
we would have sent more guys to this war if it was so important. We would have mobilized our entire nation. This isn't World War II. This is unbelievable. We had a general that left in the middle of a war. I don't know why, but Eisenhower didn't go anywhere during World War II and come back with a book halfway through it. You know, this war, if it was so important, we would have drafted half our young people or whatever. The other guys would have been making armaments in the factories. There's something wrong with this war.
But, you know, I
wouldn't send
I have to say that Mr. Junko and Mr. Fantino have raised a good point in that many good things are being done. But the issue here is the lack of equipment. And I don't know where you got your information, Mr. Fantino, but they are not being given the right equipment. And basically, we need to either get the right equipment to them or bring them home. One or the other.
Home. That's
well,
the
that's
never send them. Keep our guys home from now on.
How about
unless someone attacks us, comes across our borders, we leave our hands to ourselves. No more of this stuff.
How about this?
We're not the American
of MPs go serve with our troops. If you're so confident in that mission, 10% of sitting MPs go sit, wash toilets, cut potatoes, do whatever you got to do. If you're so confident, serve with them.
Here's an idea. Perhaps the Harper government or the Liberal government could take a moment and come up with their own sacrifice. Bring the troops home. We've asked them to sacrifice. We sent them over there. They did their job. Now the Liberals and the Conservatives need to sacrifice and bring those men home.
I'd like to end with one question, and that is this. Why has Mr. Harper not consulted Parliament? I'll tell you why. He knows Parliament.
And unfortunately, I'm not going to have that question answered, so we need to move on at this point.
Well, I know he didn't have to, but he should have.
We candidates. Order. Thank you. Candidates, we are not going to move to, geez, I felt like the town crier there for a second. We're now going to move to the video question. Please pay attention to your monitors.
Hi, my name is Peter Pileggi. I'm from Vaughan, Ontario. My question to the candidate is the traffic congestion in Rutherford. What are you people going to do about the traffic congestion, especially on the weekends, where it takes 20 minutes to get from Jane and Rutherford to the 400th? Thank you.
And that's a relevant question all during the municipal candidates debates as well. So we're going to go now to Paulo Fabrizio of the Libertarian Party, please.
Well, you can chalk it up to poor planning, too many homes, bad transportation system. There's a lot of reasons behind it. But again, take responsibility into yourself. I drive around and I have a family of 5, and I'm looking around. There's cars with 1 person in it. If you want to be responsible, take responsibility for yourself. Carpool, take the bus, take a bike. There's a lot of things you can do as a citizen to take it into your own hands. Stop asking the government for solutions. They don't know the answers themselves, so stop looking for them for the answers.
Okay, Brian?
Well, plainly it goes to poor municipal planning as far as that corridor goes. I mean, the best we can do, of course, is work with Mr. Bevilacqua and the MPPs to try and find a solution to it. But when you're building consortiums of shopping malls all over and bridging those with large subdivisions surrounding those consortiums of shopping malls, it's difficult to manage the infrastructure. It's difficult to figure out where the roads are going to go. The public plan should have had all that information. Someone should have caught it at the municipal level. This has little to do with what's going on federally.
And since I embarked upon first names this round, Dorian.
Thank you very much. In actual fact, you know, it comes back to the reality that this, and I would like Peter Pelleggi to know that it's a serious issue because it increases more accidents and it certainly does not make the road safer, particularly around, and he's quite right, the Rutherford Road area. But I think, again, what it boils down to, it's a municipal issue. It is something that the province should be taking interest in. Personally, if elected, I will definitely work with Mr. Bevilacqua and the province to make sure that the planning is readjusted, because we have the same problem here in Newmarket now, and it's rather shocking. So I do feel it is our responsibility collectively at the municipal, the provincial and the federal level. We just can't cop out and say, oh, I'm federal, it's not my business. It is our business. If I get elected, I'll make it my business to make sure that Rutherford and that whole area is going to be safer and the traffic congestion will be mitigated.
Thank you. Julian?
Well, it isn't just Rutherford. I mean, the reality is the exponential growth of the community brings with it certain numbers of pressures, including traffic. And there is a role for the federal government to play here in that, as a beginning, there's some $622 million allocated for the expansion of the Spadina subway coming into Vaughan. That will help relieve the congestion greatly throughout the city. But certainly it's something that has to be tackled broadly at multiple levels of government. The one thing we have not talked about here is the role of the region. Rutherford is a regional road. And so this is one other element of government with whom I would suggest strongly we need to work with to ensure that we provide the best quality support, not only in regards to traffic, but other issues. So my intent would be certainly to bring my expertise to the table to speak about these issues, and that I've been there for 42 years.
Thank you. Tony, please.
No doubt that roads like Rutherford are important and vital parts of our community, and we need to bring more forward, more opportunities and more strategic learnings that come from bad planning outcomes. And so from my perspective, I've worked on sustainable transportation models, working with the province, working with the city and the region to continue to foster an understanding of good planning and create a culture of sustainable transportation. It's something that unfortunately we've not gotten accustomed to, and we need to start to create incentives for people to use more public transit modes and models so that we can all be able to have a good quality of life here. And our quality of life is being severely hurt by what is happening on roads like Rutherford. And so all four levels of government, the city, regional, provincial and federal level, should be working together. Another thing we have to do is get the right kind of funding. The Economic Action Plan has underfunded Vaughan to the tune of millions of dollars when they should have provided more results for those communities.
Claudia, please.
Thank you. Well, we can't be downloading responsibility. We have a dream of having green infrastructure and green transportation, and certainly when developers come into Vaughan, the Green Party has proposed that they offer 3-year transit passes to all residents. This is already done in places like Colorado. And so certainly there's a lot that the federal government can do, and we will also make all bicycles and bicycle equipment tax-free and GST-free, and that's another Green Party policy. So we're serious about combating the gridlock, and we're serious about working with the province and the municipalities.
Thank you. Leslie?
Well, that situation at Rutherford, it's already a done deal. Basically, it's been built. The only thing we can really do is in the future plan better. But for as far as the 400 series highways go, I'd probably nationalize the 407 and reduce high-occupancy vehicle lanes to spread traffic flow out a bit and keep people from being jammed up all day when they're trying to get to work and back. That's about all I can do for the people. I can't change what's been built already. Thank you.
Okay, we will open this up because transportation is an issue in Vaughan.
More money should have been given to the city of Vaughan, Mr. Fantino, by your government with respect to the Economic Action Plan. The city of Vaughan has 250,000 people, and only $20 million was provided to it. A city like Barrie that has less than 100,000 people, $40 million. Surely your government should have done more for your community if you believe that these projects are so important to enhance and to develop with respect to growth. Your government has done nothing in this area, and it's very disappointing to have you stay here that you want to work with people when in fact the monies that you're government hasn't delivered its fair share to the people of Vaughan, which is
obviously
very distressing. What you're saying.
Obviously, you're not either informed or you choose.
I know the facts. You don't know the facts, Mr. Fantino.
Excuse me.
$40 million was given to the city of Barrie and a city of 100,000 people. 250,000 people in the city of Vaughan. $20 million. It's
that expansion was done while Mr. Bevilacqua was in office. Why didn't he get more money?
Ask Mr. Fantino.
I don't have to ask Mr. Fantino. I'm asking the Liberals. Mr. Bevilacqua was there. Clearly, he didn't fight hard enough to put it in place when those malls were being put up.
Mr. Bevilacqua. Now you don't like Mr. Bevilacqua?
I didn't say anything about Mr. Bevilacqua.
No, didn't say anything
no, why would you accuse me of that? No, I would just like to understand why you would accuse me of not liking Mr. Bevilacqua.
You just said so. You said now all of a sudden Mr. Bevilacqua isn't the...
I didn't say that.
Okay, why don't we...
I said for years, don't accuse me. No, wait a minute. Don't accuse me.
Let's get away from... We like words of Bevilacqua. The question is about transportation.
I have no trouble with Mr. Bevilacqua.
Can we hear the moderator?
Tony and Brian, let's get back to the transportation issue, please.
Mr. Moderator, if I can get back to what I consider to be a very disingenuous statement that the Harper government has not done this and has not done that. The infrastructure money that has come from the federal government to Vaughan directly is in the area of $640 million, including $622 million for the subway. A considerable amount of infrastructure monies dedicated to the Al Palladini Center, the library in Kleinburg, the McMichaels collection, a whole lot of road work and bridges and other things.
$20 million
And it's disingenuous to say that they have done nothing.
$20 million it was given
you're just
to the
inciting rhetoric.
You're not telling the facts,
the Liberals
Mr. Fantino.
didn't act
Please tell the
quickly enough
facts.
to ensure that there were going to be proper protocols in place to put those roads in when they approved all of the when municipalities approved all of those permits.
Regional responsibilities.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Bevilacqua was a regional
member. The people of Vaughan are much more interested in what's happening now. We need to forget the past.
Then why are we talking about it?
We need to move into the present and the future, and we consider navel gaze what hasn't been done. But let's say what will be done. And I want the Vaughan voters to know that I will be a man of action. I will get it done. Let's not worry about the past, crying over spilt milk. Let's move forward and build on what we've got, and let's learn from the past. And Mr. Bevilacqua, I think, will join me if I'm elected in mitigating that traffic problem around Rutherford.
I had a simple request from one of the residents of Vaughan. The lady just simply requested some more seats on the subway from Barrie to Toronto.
It's disconcerting to hear all this
I think that's reasonable
about
to ask.
what is or isn't the reality. The reality is $640 million, which is created...
$620 was in the subway, $20 million under the Economic Action Plan.
Will continue to create job growth in the community as well. We're forgetting about that. So let's be clear. What you say is nothing is not true.
Okay, candidates, we do have time for one more question. So we're going to, and this will start when we get to it, to Brian Jadan, please. And the question is, there have been instances of anti-Semitism and even hate crimes in Vaughan in the past. What do you think needs to be done to combat this? And are penalties for this type of crime strong enough? Brian, please.
For anti-Semitism, I don't think that any penalty is really tough enough. It's a pretty horrible crime. For people to make statements that are in disregard of any particular group, I find offensive. And in order to, I guess, make things better, education is the only way to do it. We need to teach the future generations that it's wrong to have preconceived notions or opinions about anyone. Take a few moments to learn about someone and you'll find that you'll probably like them, no matter who they are, no matter what they say. And that doesn't just go for anti-Semitic behavior. Even today, walking in here, I wasn't sure who I was going to like, and I had all these preconceived notions myself, and I'm walking out going, this has been a really interesting experience. I think that we need a stronger police presence, perhaps a dedicated task force to deal with anti-Semitism or anti-Semitic behavior.
Thank you very much. Dorian Baxter, please.
As an educator with the York Region Board of Education and working 8 years in Vaughan and 24 years altogether in the York Region area and 33 years across the province, I have found that when one works with young people, one can stem the tide of bigotry. I think that there would need to be, within the school boards across the country, rewards for people that are willing to speak out about the importance of our multicultural approach.